Hare Krishna. I sing Jai Radha Madhava. Thank you. Yeah. In India, they also go. Okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana 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 Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bihari. Jai Jai Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Jai Jai Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhupada Ashtotrisha Shri Srimad Srila Vaishnava Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaura Premanande. Yeah, if you have Bhagavad-gita. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshuranmilitabhyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganavadvinatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Madgavira Vigopala Swikuryat Kripaya Yadi Tadaiva Sampayaha Pitva Hrishyayustat Priyajanaha. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur prays in the end of his 10th canto commentary on Srimad-Bhagavatam, my dear Lord Gopal, only if you accept my words to be as your cows, then they will be able to give enough sweet milk to give pleasure to your pure devotees. I didn't have any topic planned for this talk, so if anybody has any burning questions or if there's anything that you'd like to hear about it, you know. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna talks about karma. At the same time, there is a prarabdha. So how one balance, like how much to leave on prarabdha and how much you do as a karma? So that.
First of all, does anyone mind if we turn this fan off? It's okay? It's not a hot day today, is it? Maybe by Bay Area standards, but it's probably about 50 degrees in Vrindavan right now. That's centigrade, not Fahrenheit. So yeah, I mean, we're sensitive to cold. Karma. Maybe you should restate your question. I'm not sure I got it.
one side there is a prarabdha, how much you can achieve, like past life karma and destiny.
Yes.
Other side, you have a karma to perform so that you can achieve something. So now, how we balance both of those in our life?
Yeah. I think what you're saying is that on one hand, certain things are predestined. That's prarabdha karma. And on the other hand, you have an obligation, a responsibility. That's also called karma, right? So, yeah, what to do? Well, fortunately, we have 5 chapters in Bhagavad-gita dedicated to this topic. First 5 chapters, more or less, at least chapters 3 through 5. Those 2 chapters, for sure. They're dealing with karma. And in those chapters, Krishna also admits, frankly, he states it all straight, it's not easy to understand. Akarma, ya pashet, or, karma, akarma, and vikarma, these things Krishna says are very difficult to understand. So yeah, you're not going to figure out everything. But in a nutshell, we can say that prarabdha karma means, well, first of all, karma. What does karma mean? Who can tell me what karma means? It's such a common word, it's entered the English language now. What does it actually mean? Action. In the most general sense, karma means action. And I'm giving you a warning that the easiest words in Sanskrit are actually the hardest words. And this is one example, because karma means action, but at the same time, karma specifically means ritual action, actions that are enjoined in the Shastra for your spiritual or even material elevation. That, strictly speaking, is karma, and a synonym for that kind of karma is called karma kanda, or rhymes with karma. Dharma. Dharma karma eksehang. So that's one thing. And so that's your ritual obligation. That's your social obligation. It's also a part and parcel of what we call varnashram dharma, because there's a system to kind of regulate all that kind of activity into a social sphere, and then it becomes, you have 4 ashramas and you have 4 varnas, and that's another topic maybe, but that's one kind of karma. Karma, as we said in the beginning, the most general sense, it means any kind of activity, but specifically this. Now, karma in terms of reactions, things that we've done in the past, every action that we perform, it's like planting a seed, actually. We hear about karma bij. Bij means seed. Performing an action is like planting a seed. Think about all the different seeds in the world. What is that place? Svalbard, right? They have all the seeds in the world are stored in a climate-controlled vault there, so that, if anything happens to the rest of us, somebody gets nuke happy or something, everything is maintained, right? So, seeds, activities are like seeds. Little tiny poppy seeds, massive avocado seeds, different kinds of actions, and they produce different kinds of results. Some actions produce results that you like. Some actions produce results that you don't like. Respectively, those are called punya and papa. More, I want to say prescriptively rather than descriptively, we can say that punya means the same thing as dharma, or the same thing as karma as previously defined. But punya specifically, it's relative. What one person likes, another person may not like. My wife and I are a good example of this, because she's always feeling too hot and I'm always feeling too cold, and it's just not compatible. So, for somebody, what is good is all relative. But for you as an individual, you know what you like, you know what you want and what you don't want. If you get what you don't like or don't want, that is bad karma. That's, the result of some, injudicious activity in the past. You have to suffer for that. Similarly, when, things fall out of the sky and into your hands, or you get something that's very pleasing, through no effort of your own even, it seems sometimes. It often happens like that. That's punya. That is your good, the result of some past good karma. Now, whatever actions we have performed in the past, it's like planting a seed. That seed will always fructify in the karmic realm of things. It no duds. So it's going to produce a particular kind of fruit. And every life we have to burn off some degree of this karma that we have already planted the seeds. That kind of karma is called prarabdha. Prarabdha. It's already begun. Means the seed has been planted and the seed has also sprouted, and you're going to, if either you're experiencing it at present or you're going to experience it in this life. Likhitam apilalate pronchitam kaha samartha. Hitopadesh tells us, whatever's written on your forehead, it doesn't matter whether you move from, what is this place called? Mountain View to New York or Mumbai or wherever you go. Whatever's written on your forehead is going with you. As Alakta, there's some kind of indelible barcode on everybody's forehead, and only the Devatas can read it. So, that's your prarabdha karma. Now, karma that has been performed, and there are 3 stages. First, there's bija. That's the performance of the action. Immediately after you perform an action, that seed has been planted. It's been planted, but it has not yet fructified. It's there. It's not going anywhere. It's in the ground, but it's not yet fructified. So that's called bija. And then there's another stage, it's called kutastana, that the thing has fructified, but it is not pushed above the ground yet. It's germinated, it's already growing, just like when we were kids. Remember? I don't know if they have this experiment in your science classes in India. They tell you, tomorrow morning for class, everybody has to bring 1 potato. And you bring the potato, and you put it in a glass of water, and you keep it, and lo and behold, it starts growing into a potato plant, right? So that's kind of like that. You've already performed the action. The action is already generated. It's going to come to prarabdha karma at some point, but it's not yet there. That's called kutastha. And then, as we already mentioned, prarabdha karma means it's already sprouted. And it's already, in fact, not only sprouted, but it's also produced some fruit. It's already blossomed and produced some kind of fruit, either a sweet fruit or a sour fruit, either a very healthy fruit or a poisonous fruit, as the case may be. So people perform all kinds of actions in this world. And some of them are extremely pious. It's amazing to see what kind of sacrifice people can do in life, what kinds of piety people are capable of doing. So many saintly persons have graced the history of humanity throughout the ages. And actually, it's a good idea to read about them because it purifies us. Our intelligence is purified. Our thoughts are ennobled by thinking of these things. And then there are greatly sinful people as well. Just unthinkable things people will do to one another and to the environment also, and even to themselves. So all kinds of different activities. This is the difference between karma bij, karma, kutastha karma, and prarabdha karma. So what do we do in this life? If it's understood that everything that you experience in life, it's the result of some past activity, all the good or bad, all the happiness and the distress that you feel, it's predestined in a sense, but it's a limited sense. It's predestined in the sense that you're going to get whatever's on the docket for this life to be enjoyed or suffered. But there's also, human life is a life that is marked by responsibility, and human life alone is a life that is marked by responsibility. Even devatas do not have to be responsible the way that human beings do. Animals do not have to be responsible in the way that human beings do. Human beings uniquely have this obligation, which we've discussed already as dharma. In fact, that is the defining characteristic of a human being. We mentioned this morning, that it's not enough to be a biologically correct human being capable of reproducing with another such person. It's not enough. Really, according to the Shastra, the definition of your human status is that you are adhering to the Shastric injunctions that are known as dharma. That's something to think about. It's something to think very carefully about also. Look at your life and just consider the ramifications of this principle. So we've planted some seed in the past, and we enjoy or suffer the result of that seed, but we also have obligations in this life to perform. So Krishna says, very early on in the Gita, he says, a verse that everybody knows. I think if there's only one verse that everybody knows in Bhagavad-gita, it's this one. What is it? Karmani eva adhikaraste ma phale. Everybody loves this verse because they don't understand it. Karmani eva adhikaraste. Your only obligation is to perform karma. Yeah, that sounds good. But what he means is karma in the sense of dharma. Oh, okay. We were talking about this. When I was a kid here in California, I grew up in Los Angeles. We had a lemon tree in the backyard. And when I was 4.5 or so, I was swinging like a monkey from the branches of the lemon tree, just enjoying life carelessly. And then they came and said, okay, tomorrow you have to go to school. Oh, school. What's that? So then the obligation begins, see? So, everybody has an obligation to perform in life. And they don't have to perform the same obligation. Everybody has their own. But everybody equally has to perform their dharma. This is the, nowadays they talk about, what is that? Diversity, inclusion, equity, and inclusion. So you've got equality is there, but the equality is, it's equality of obligation, not equality of action. Everybody has their own thing to perform. Why would that be? We like to artificially homogenize human society because we're so permeated by Marxian concepts that that's considered to be the ideal. But it's not necessarily so, because people are different. People are so different, all different kinds of people. You have to accommodate all of them. And this is what Vyasadeva has done in the Vedic literature. He's made it in such a way that everybody can do something in this scheme of dharma, and they can thereby, be elevated. The part that we don't usually like is that if everybody can do something, that also means simultaneously everybody has to do something. And we would rather just be irresponsible. One of my favorite poets, he said, because we're getting wildflowers now in California, right? Even they're growing on the side of the freeway, I noticed. The California state flower, anybody know what it is? Golden poppy, Golden State. It's the golden poppy, golden state. So one poet, he wrote, brave flowers, that I could gallant it like you, and be so little vain. For you come abroad and make a harmless show, and to your beds of earth again. You're not proud, you know your birth, for your embroidered garments are of the earth. He's praying like this. And then he goes on to say that you obey your times and seasons, but I would have it ever spring. Isn't this our problem? You understand what I'm saying? The flowers are ready to follow their dharma. They only bloom at a certain time, and they only stay for a certain time, and then they're content with what they've done, and they continue on. And in fact, every living being in this world does that. Why? Because they don't have a choice. That's why. They have no choice. Human beings alone have a choice. Should I do my dharma or should I not do my dharma? But it's not that we don't have dharma the same way that the animals and other species have. Devatas also have their own set of dharma. Everybody has some dharma to perform. So we can read this verse, we can say, it really means dharmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu rachana. I once had some questions about the Upanishads that I went to a professor. What was his name? I forget now. But nice Sharma ji, one gentleman, teaching in the University of Hawaii. So we were discussing, and I raised a few questions, and he wasn't in the mood to entertain my questions. He said, no, just understand this. Krishna says, your only right is to work. And then what's the second line? Ma phaleshu kadachana. And you're not entitled to your paycheck, even. The fruits of your work, no, that's not yours. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Okay, well, at least I can take pride in what I'm doing, right? No, sir. Ma karma phale hetur bhu. Don't consider that you are the result of that fruit also, because it's being carried out by prarabdha karma. You have nothing to do with it. And finally, what's the clincher for this thing? Last line. Ma te sangostu akarmani, and you can't not work. So he said, what does this mean to a pedestrian, average citizen of, where are we now? Mountain View, California. It means you have to work, you can't be paid for your work, you can't take pride in your work, and you have to work. You can't stop working. He said, what is this called but slavery? So there's something missing here, and that's love. If you have love, people will do all of these things for love. Is it not a fact? What people will do for love, anything, you see? That's the missing element. And that's why the whole Varnashram system, the whole Hindu civilization, practically, it's all crumbled. And, it's just become a mutual exploitation system. Perfect example is the caste system, since we're talking about dharma. Anybody here from Tamil Nadu? I know about caste in Tamil Nadu because I spend a lot of time there. But, wow. That's why they keep voting for DMK, even though DMK does nothing for anybody. But at least it saves them from this caste stuff, So, Anyway, it's a mess because people have the same kind of illusion that was exemplified by Arjuna at Kurukshetra. Arjuna was not actually an illusion. He was just playing that part because Krishna had to address the kinds of misconceptions that we all have about dharma. What was Arjuna's misconception in the beginning of Bhagavad-gita? He's thinking, look, Krishna, all my family members are on the other side. Do I have to kill them? And, what is the point of enjoying the kingdom if, there's nobody to enjoy it with? All my people are dead. And what did Krishna tell him about that point? Anybody remember? He reminded him, Baba, it's not about you. You're not doing this to enjoy the kingdom. You have a dharma to perform. Because that's what elevates us as human beings. That's the purpose of taking birth as a human being. Dharmasya hina pashubhi samana. Without this dharma, a human being is really no different than the animals. Prabhupada said, the dogs and cats are running around on 4 legs. They have taken birth in tiryang yonis, that means horizontal beings. What are they looking for? 4 things. Ahara, nidra, paya, maithunam cha. Eating, sleeping, mating, fighting. We don't call it defense or fighting. We call it security. Big deal here in Silicon Valley, right? Got to protect yourself from the Nigerians and from other corporations and from the hackers. And fighting propensity is animal life. One time my god sister, Govinda Dasi, she told me, this is personal information, I hope it's... Anyway, there was, in the temple where she started the temple in Hawaii. And, after some time she had left and she came back, and then she found that all the devotees, they were kind of like there was fighting going on there, because there are accidents even on royal roads. And even we see demigods are fighting and everything, what to speak of ourselves. So she said, all these people, these are people that I made them into devotees, and I preach to them, and they look up to me, and what do I tell them? I can't take sides, and at the same time, what am I supposed to do? Prabhupada he took a deep breath, he closed his eyes, and he said, the mouse is afraid of the cat. The cat is afraid of the dog. The dog is afraid of the tiger. The tiger is afraid of the elephant. But as far as we're concerned, they're all animals. That was his answer. That was his answer. So realize what it means to be a human being. It's not just about eating. You've heard the expression, you don't live to eat, you eat to live. It's not just about eating, it's not just about chasing the opposite sex, or now they chase the same sex. People don't even know how many genders there are anymore. Whose bathroom to use? We were in the LAX airport. There's a male bathroom, there's a female bathroom, there's an all-gender bathroom. We couldn't decide, my wife and I, well, who uses that thing? Maybe they don't know either, I don't know. But anyway, this is dharma. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, these are things that we have in common with the animals. It's true, we have these tendencies, because how do you expect to erase billions of eons of psychological residue that accumulates in your psychology as a result of being God only knows what kind of species in the past? Do you remember when you were an aardvark? Anybody know what an armadillo is even? They have them in Texas. I know only because I used to live there. Strange creatures. It looks like a cross between a mouse and an alligator, if you can imagine that. Each of us used to be Brahma at one point. We've all created universes before. Look at you now. Struggling in San Jose, California, or wherever you're from. This karma is a scary thing. It can take you on a real ride. Maya. So, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These are the tendencies we have, and we have to regulate them because we're trying to get free from this animal consciousness, animal psychology. What is that? Well, look at it this way. When we print books, at least in Hindi, what does it say just before the title page? Prathama samskarana, dvitiya samskarana, tritiya samskarana, ityadi. Samskarana means what? Imprint, edition, right? Literally, it means impression. So samskara means the psychological impressions that are left upon our psyche as a result of our experiences of all the prarabdha karma that we've been through already. And if there are 8,400,000 different species of life, how many impressions do you think you have? Look at the things that you dream about at night, and that gives you some idea. Where does all this crazy stuff come from? All milta julta hai, together in your brain, mixed up in ways that, just produce crazy images that haunt us. So when we come to be human beings and we realize the responsibility of human life, which is to get out of this cycle of repeated birth and death, why do you have to keep dying all the time? Does anybody even stop to consider this? You don't have to die if you don't want to, so why are you settled for that? This is a valid question to ask because we have the intelligence to consider the full ramifications of this kind of question. So 8,400,000 different species of life, and most of them we can assume we've been in them before. So human life alone gives us the intelligence to understand Bhagavad-gita as it is. Special Bhagavad-gita, as it is Bhagavad-gita. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder and Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I know from my own personal experience, I would not understand Bhagavad-gita if it were not for Bhagavad-gita as it is. You know why I say that? Because I didn't understand Bhagavad-gita. I read Bhagavad-gita. Many editions I read, but I didn't understand any of it. I really didn't. And in retrospect, I can say that. At the time, I didn't understand that. Now I've studied all the commentaries, major commentaries in Sanskrit on Bhagavad-gita, and I've come to realize that whatever Prabhupada is writing in his commentaries, he's not just making this up out of whole cloth. He's just paraphrasing whatever his predecessors have written. Sridhar Swami, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baladev Vidyabhushan, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the whole Guru Parampara, you will find their message is given here in Bhagavad Gita as it is. And that's why it makes people devotees. Think about this. So many editions of Bhagavad Gita in the world today, but they don't make a single person Krishna conscious, including me. But one Bhagavad Gita has made hundreds and thousands of people Krishna conscious. Kyun? Matlab ki is Bhagavad Gita mein koi vishesh shakti hogi. Correct? So, and usko bhakti shakti bolte hain. Means evam parampara praptam imam rajarshiyo viduhu. Krishna tells Arjuna that this thing has to be understood in disciplic succession. In fact, what he's not saying so clearly is that this thing has to be understood in disciplic succession, otherwise you don't understand it. And this was my own experience I'm speaking from. So, next time you find something in Prabhupada's purport that kind of makes you uncomfortable, just appreciate what my godbrother Jayadvaita Swami told me a few years back. He said, preaching means to comfort those who are distressed and to distress those who are comfortable. So, human life means you have to take a little trouble to elevate yourself out of animal existence. Otherwise, you go back there. And that is it's a valid option. And people exercise that option all the time. It's more comfortable in the short term. Somebody sent me a video. I mean, this was graphic video. It shows a little goat. He's sitting there out in the wilderness somewhere, baby goat. Yeah, it seems like he was hurt. Or maybe the person who took the video broke his leg, because they do these kinds of things also. It was in this island where these Komodo dragons live. Everybody know what a Komodo dragon is? I mean, the most fierce, cold-blooded of reptiles that you can imagine. So this guy comes lumbering up, and they've got this forked tongue, and the little goat is looking at this thing, this dragon. He doesn't know what to think about it, but the thing starts, checking him out with its tongue. And he thought, oh, yeah, okay, my mother does that. But then the dragon just chomped down on his head and swallowed him head first, practically in one bite. There was no fight even. You animals, they fight each other. There was no fight involved here. This poor guy was sitting there, and this Komodo dragon just immediately swallows him and starts digestion. No chewing. Hi. What a world we live in. I spoke to somebody yesterday who said he was very comfortable here, living in what did he tell me this morning? Fremont. Those of you who live in Fremont, you probably maybe have heard that supposedly it's the most happy place in the United States. Fremont, California. Somebody decided this, I don't know who, but, so one of them came to me yesterday and said, yeah, I'm happy, everything good, But I warned him, I said, Baba, it's not going to stay like this forever. Hyderabad, Prabhupada gave a nice lecture here in Hyderabad many years ago. So in those days there was this Andhra conference going on, because Telangana had not been created yet. This was Andhra Pradesh. So Prabhupada told them all, how long, you may be satisfied that you're in Andhra Pradesh now, but how long will you remain Andhra? You cannot do that. You may have taken your birth this time in maybe a Bhattacharya family or our Iyengar family or whatever it is. But, what are you doing about it? If the gas tank is empty, you can run on fumes for some time, but you got to refill it also with gas. That means with dharma. So dharma is the exclusive concern of the human beings. And without it, there's really not much that separates us from animals, I was going to say. Animals are running around on 4 legs, looking for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Human beings are running around looking for the same thing on 4 wheels. Sometimes you see them at night. I call them nishacharas. You don't see them as much as you hear them, because when you're trying to sleep, you get this sound coming from outside. Right? Do they have lowriders up here? Lowriders, have you heard? They have it? Yeah, it's a unique aspect of California culture. You have to kind of be raised here, especially in Latina areas. But yeah, so this is, Dharma is something that we need to consider very seriously if we are interested in, even if you're interested in maintaining your position of comfort in this material world, that's what it's worth. And in fact, most people are doing that. Most people who practice Dharma to any degree, it's only for that purpose. But that's very short-sighted. Because what can you get from a human form of life? It's kind of like if you're going to Elon Musk, God forbid, and you ask him, can I borrow $1? What is he able to give you, and what are you asking him for? So Krishna tells Arjuna this in many places in Bhagavad-gita, in chapter 3, again in chapter 4, again in chapter 7, again in chapter 9, and elsewhere even. He says those who are worshipping demigods, well, really, Baladevi Dabhushan in his commentary explains, the reason that we worship demigods, why do we worship demigods, devatas? Because you get it, and when do you get it? Real fast. Yeah. Talk about Shreyas versus Preyas. Preyas means something that's immediate, it's gratifying, it's attractive. Shreyas, on the other hand, means something that, you got to pay something for it because it's really valuable and it lasts forever, or at least a very long time. It's like the difference between diamonds and cubic zirconia. There are many people, they can't tell the difference. So, if they're not prepared to pay for diamonds, then they're okay with that, and their friends are also fooled, and so they're good. But if you want diamonds, you have to pay for diamonds. You can't expect to get diamonds for the price of cubic zirconia. One day I was in the train station in Bhadrak, Orissa, of all places, coming from Kartak, where I used to live, to Kolkata. And one man came on the train, as they do, and he showed me he had an envelope with all, gemstones. He said, I'm from Mumbai. I stole these from my employer. I was in a jewelry store. He had such an elaborate story. South Asia, this is a characteristic. Very sophisticated cheating goes on there. Highly sophisticated. So much so that every few years the government has to do something radical like outlawing 2,000 rupee notes with 12 hours notice. There was a grace period, of course. I had several thousand rupees in the house, so I thought, let me be a good citizen. I'll take it to my bank and put it in the bank account so I'm good, above board. The bank wouldn't take my money. I said, Kyon? And they said, because, you have to show us some encashment certificate that you got this through legal means. Are, bye-bye. Show me a letter that with a bank letterhead signed by the branch manager that says this is your policy, and I'll consider it. They wouldn't do it. Why? Because he was in on it. So sophisticated cheating goes on there. What did I do about it? I went to the black market and got it done in 5 minutes. That's why, you have to cheat in India. Practically everybody's cheating, no? Anyway, we don't dilate too much on that, but the point is that we should be dharmic. We should be using this human form of life for what the human form of life alone can give us, and that is an escape from all this janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. And dukkha doshano darshanam means all the misery that goes on as well. The adibhautik klesha, the dhyatmic klesha, adidaivik klesha. Here in California, what kind of adidaivik kleshas do you have? Earthquakes. And what kind of, wildfires, we're not so sure they're wild all the time, right? So that's like straddles between adidaivik and adibhautik. And what's the main thing that the people suffer from, especially in America, I think? Any doctors here? You already know the answer. Adhyatmic klesha. Especially, of the psychological type. It's noticeable if you live outside of America for some time and come back every once in a while like I do. It seems like every year it just gets worse and worse. People are just crazed with sense gratification because they're so sinful, and they have convinced themselves or have been convinced by someone else that dharma is not going to fulfill your ambitions. So they have to figure out any adharmic way to get what they want, and then they will break every rule, and they'll do unimaginable things they will imagine. And it just keeps getting worse and worse until they go completely bonkers. I was telling someone the other day in Los Angeles, just near our temple in Los Angeles, Fox Hills Mall. Anybody from LA, you may know about this place. Several members of the same gang, they all got together and they coordinated on their cell phones. They all assembled in the mall, and they called up and they said, "This is the target now." And they all converged on the jewelry store, overwhelmed the security, took everything they wanted out of the shelves, all the jewelry, and then out the door. And they never caught them, because after all, California has legalized crime now. So, but. Yeah. I'm being facetious, but the point is that, this is going on. These things do go on. And, even when I was a kid, I can talk like this because I'm from here. Even when I was a kid, they said California is a land of fruits and nuts. Badam. Anyway, so all kinds of miseries we undergo if we abuse the human form of life. Even if we don't abuse the human form of life, still you're going to undergo misery, and that's why you should get out. That's liberation. Moksha is a higher thing than just dharma and karma and all this, keeping your nose clean in the material world and thinking that you can go on living for hundreds of years. Ishopanishad does tell us that. But there is a higher reality, and that is eternity. We want to live eternally. Everyone has that aspiration, but we have to keep dying. We want to love eternally and be loved eternally, but everything goes sour, isn't it? Or it's taken away in one way or another. No matter what you want, you cannot have it in this world, my friends. Tamal Krishna Goswami used to put it very bluntly. He said, there's only 3 things that can happen in this world. Number 1, you have a desire and you get what you desire, but you find out it's not everything that it's cracked up to be, and so you're not satisfied with it. 2, you don't get what you desire because you don't have the karma for it. So you're frustrated then. You get what you like, and you like it, and it is satisfying also, but then because the time factor is there, we discussed this the other day, you lose it. But in all cases, Mrityu sarva haraschaham, Krishna says, everything is taken away by this time factor. It's an unintelligent investment. And that's why Krishna says regarding devatas, whom we've mentioned already, he says, kamais taister hrita jnana prapadyantenya devataha. Those whose intelligence is stolen by their lusty desires. Our intelligence becomes so clouded by our lusty desires, isn't it? We become so confused and can't see everything, so complicated. It's not complicated, but we don't want to see things the way they really are. So, real thing is that we should use the human form of life for what it is worth by, first of all, being pious enough that we can accommodate devotional service. We discussed that this morning, that who knows chapter 7, text number 28 of Bhagavad-gita? Sundar knows it. Anybody else? Mukaravind? Jorse. Shobhanam, iska matlab to kya hai?
One who has acted piously in this life and also previous life and whose sins has been eradicated, they can only take the devotional service with full determination.
Because of one crucial factor, te dvanva moha nirmukta. That process eradicates the illusions that impel us to sit in the first place. It eradicates the illusions that cause us to suffer from our prarabdha karmas in the first place. Te dvanva moha nirmukta. When we're pious and cultivate knowledge and perform devotional service, all three of those things, then we are elevated out of suffering and we can stay fixed in devotional service. And if you engage in devotional service, automatically you're going to be liberated. You don't even have to endeavor for it separately. It's automatic. Now, fortunately for us, the easiest way to engage in devotional service in the Kali Yuga, you all know this, I think. What is it? Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kyonki kaler doshni he rajan asti hi ego mahad gunaha kirtanareva krishnasya mukta bandha param vrajed. Two things happen when you chant the holy name. Even though this Kali Yuga is an ocean of every kind of inconvenience, every kind of obstacle, every kind of flaw, every kind of ugliness is there in Kali Yuga, it's no doubt. If you're a fault finder, it's a fault finder's paradise. But the one good thing about this age is that simply by trying to focus your whole attention on this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, two things happen. Number one thing that happens, all the negativity is removed. That's liberation, otherwise known as mukta bandha. The holy name has two aspects, taraka and paraka. Taraka nam takes you out of all this illusion and sin and reactions and suffering, all these things. The holy name in its capacity as taraka nam does that. That's called mukta bandha. And param vrajet means you go to the supreme destination or the supreme attainment. And that's taken care of by paraka nam. The same nam does both things, depending on our own adhikar, depending on our own qualification and the sincerity of our own approach. So paraka nam takes us from a liberated state and puts us into devotional service. Rupa Goswami has described this further by citing an old but anonymous verse that we don't know who the author is even. In his Pajavali, he quotes it. What does he say? Kalyananam nidhanam kalimalamathanam pavanam pavananam. Being the active ingredient of all purifying things, this holy name is the source of all of our auspiciousness. And pateyam yanmumukshoho sapati parapara praptiye prochamanam. The persons who seek liberation, they declare very confidently that this is all the provision that you require for your journey back to Godhead, this holy name. Parapara praptiye prochamanam. For attaining a position in the spiritual world, that is to say. Because by chanting Hare Krishna, you realize that Krishna and his name is non-different. You realize the abhedatvam, the advaitam between the Lord and his name, and you also realize the wonderful qualities that Krishna alone has, and you realize the beauty of Krishna's form. I mean, just everybody turn your head in this direction. This is the holy name of Krishna, manifest as a deity in the temple. And finally, after Nama, Guna, Rupa, then Leela. You actually enter into the pastimes of Krishna. And in those pastimes, there's no interruption. Nitya Leela hoti hai. And there's no frustration. There's no, everything is bliss. Satchit Ananda. Eternity, knowledge, and bliss. What else are we looking for here in San Jose and Fremont and Cupertino and Mountain View and wherever we come from? That happiness is only available in spiritual life. So to come to spiritual life, we have to go through these stages that were mentioned. But fortunately for us, everything is affected by this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. It's all taken care of by chanting. provided we have the discipline, the determination, and the understanding also. We have to appreciate what it is that we're engaged in, otherwise we'll not be able to persevere. So this is why we have a whole science of bhakti. This is why we do everything that we do. This is why we have books like Bhagavad-gita, Srimad-Bhagavatam, and others. Just so that we can appreciate it, the tremendous importance of chanting the holy name. All right, so I don't know how much time we have left, if any. Kya? Till 5:10. Till 5, okay, so we have 20 minutes left. Maybe there are some questions or any comments also. Yes, Prabhuji. I don't think I read a verse or purport, actually. Didn't get that far.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the very nice and enlightening class, Prabhu. Prabhu, in 8th chapter, it's mentioned Visarga Karma Sangitaha. So, if we read through the explanation of that verse, it seems like karma comes prior to sarga. So, in that sense, what is the point at which karma gets attached to living entities is the question. Basically.
Good question. Yeah, I would like to review that verse before commenting on that specific verse. But as a general principle, we can say that there is such a thing as anadi karma, means beginningless karma, because the karma is going on life after life after life. Our karmic reactions travel with us in some sense, at least in the sense of samskara, the impressions that these activities imprint upon our psychology. That stain goes with us life after life. And, at least in that seed form, the karma is there. But we all have the vasanas, the tendencies to perform further such karmas as well. In that sense, the karma is coming with us. So, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking about beyond that.
So I am asking about the initial state of the living entity where is no karma attached.
Okay,
So
yeah.
At what point karma gets attached to the cycle?
Okay, yeah. Well, we're all eternal spiritual beings. We all have an eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And most of the living beings, they don't misuse their eternal but minute independence. Some of us do have that tendency to misuse our minute independence. Once we do that, we have to take birth in the material world so that we can learn to be more grateful than we were. And the material world does a good job of making us grateful for what we had and lost. But my understanding is that when we come into this world, we have more or less a blank state, other than that curiosity, if you will. Somebody asked one of Prabhupada's godbrothers about this. What is it that, if there's full knowledge in the spiritual world, then how can somebody make such a grand blunder as to enter the material world when you're fully aware of what would happen? Well, the answer, as far as I know, it's not really a question of making a mistake or being illusioned. It's a function of our minute independence. And those who choose to exercise that minute independence in the wrong way, they have to learn the hard way that it doesn't work. From the time that we take birth in this material world, generally the first birth is going to be that of Lord Brahma. Because in the beginning, you were only given a slap on the wrist. And that's like the highest birth that you can get in this world. And Brahma is full of knowledge and everything is coming from him. He's competent and qualified beyond our comprehension. But if, from that point on, if our vasanas are not purified, if our desire to evade the Lord's authority while we exploit his resources is not somehow rectified, then we have to sink into lower species of life. So it would seem that there is some karma attached even as higher demigods as well. But generally we understand that karma is really only applicable to human beings. So the dharma of I said already, the dharma of the gods is different than the dharma of the humans, which is different than the dharma of the animals. And even within human beings, the dharma of different kinds of people are different than, it's full of variety. Life in all its variegatedness is more complicated than the Rajagopuram at Srirangam, if you know what I'm talking about. Very, very complex picture. So karma is there, at least, once we come to the human form of life as we know it, karma is going to be there, because once we start acting, it starts creating reactions. Exactly how karma works in the higher sphere, I'm not sure. But it does seem as if there's some kind of karma operative there. I wouldn't want to talk anything further about it because we don't like to speculate. Is that okay? Anything else? Any questions? Mataji, yes. She needs a microphone. All the way in the back.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your class. It's very nice. Nice to see you and hear you. I have two things. Yesterday in your class, you said your favorite Bhagavad-gita verse, and you said it in Sanskrit, but I don't know the translation to that.
Okay, sorry. I have a tendency to do that.
And I was just wondering what it was.
Okay, well, the problem is that every time I recite a verse, that verse is my favorite. Like if somebody asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, what is your favorite kind of prasadam? He said, each preparation is better than the last one. I think I mentioned that in regards to chapter 4, text 10, was it? Vita raga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashrita bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavam agataha. Krishna says there that when we are purified of three things, attachment, mainly to sense gratification, fear, mainly of our spiritual identity, or the next material problem, either way, and anger, which Prabhupada explains in his purport, is really more like frustration, leading to, skepticism and, cynicism and all kinds of jaded psychologies. Krishna says when we're purified by these things, by taking shelter of Him, Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mam upashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa, and when, when we have become purified by the austerity of cultivating very much knowledge, puta madbhavam agata, then we get bhava. Then we get bhava bhakti. Or, a status which is equivalent to Krishna's status in terms of equally spiritual. Not equally absolutely, but equally spiritual. So, yeah, it's a very beautiful verse, and the reason I like that verse is because Prabhupada's purport is also unique. Normally, when I speak on Bhagavad-gita, I like to emphasize how much Srila Prabhupada is merely paraphrasing the explanations and the commentaries of his predecessors. But in this particular verse, Prabhupada is making an original contribution, which was not spoken by any of his predecessors. And the reason he does that is because it had to be said. No one could have written that commentary except Srila Prabhupada, and it could not have been written at any point other than in the 20th century when Prabhupada presented it, because it speaks so well to the state that we all are finding ourselves in. We're afraid of spiritual life, we're attached to material life, and we're just jaded and frustrated and burnt out with all kinds of apparent contradictions and confusing philosophies and everything. People give up for these reasons. So Krishna says, these are the kinds of things that have to be purified through the austerity of knowledge and through the practice of dharma as well, as we've discussed in the beginning of the class. That's really what affects this te dvandva moha nirmukta status. Now, what makes knowledge and austerity? This is a question that may arise, or it should arise. What's austere about knowledge? Who can tell me? It's a little complicated. And without the acharyas, I don't know if we would have ready answers.
You have to sit in class all the time.
Sitting in class all the time is an austerity. Yeah, especially if you've eaten too much, right? Or if you didn't get enough sleep. Yeah.
I have another question.
Well, let me just dilate on this.
Oh, okay.
Bookmark your question. We'll return to that. So Ramanujacharya begins. He explains the austerity of knowledge is threefold. Number one, you have to take the trouble to acquire that knowledge. That's what you're talking about. You have to sit in class. You have to hear. You have to exercise some volition. We were discussing this morning. Bhagavad-gita as it is should not remain as it is. It should be opened up and studied. So the austerity of knowledge, the primary austerity is to actually exercise your volition. Try to understand this. That's one thing. Second thing, what do you do once you understand what is being presented here? You've got to apply that knowledge. You have some choices to make. If Prabhupada says you cannot eat meat, they have to make a choice. What am I going to do? You cannot drink, no illicit sex, no gambling. You have to make choices. Sometimes people at this point, they close Bhagavad-gita and leave it as it is. So that's the secondary austerity of knowledge. And there's a tertiary austerity of knowledge, according to Ramanujacharya. What is that? You've taken in this knowledge, you've assimilated this knowledge, you've applied it in your own life, and you've gained realization. Now what do you do? Now the austerity is to try to explain this and convey the same realization that you've gained to somebody who's not ready to take up the process. Because unless you're ready to take up the process, you're not going to get that realization. You got to pay for the diamonds. We said this. So that's why people go for worshiping demigods. It's something quick and I'm spiritual and we're all good. See? So yeah, it's an austerity of knowledge. Your second question.
Okay. If you could elaborate on, by the mercy of Krishna, we get Guru, and by the mercy of Guru, we get Krishna.
Yeah.
And that karma, once you take initiation, the plug is pulled on the fan of karma.
Good question. Yeah. Jiva Goswami discusses this in his commentary on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I mentioned this the other night, that you stack 100 pond leaves and you push a needle through all of them. I mean, the needle goes through immediately, but actually it doesn't. The needle goes through the 100th leaf, then the 99th leaf, then the 98th leaf, 97, 96, 95, 94, adi, adi, adi. So it's like that. When we take initiation or when we do anything that absolves us of karma and removes all the karma, like many people went a month or two ago to the Kumbh Mela. So it said at that time, if you bathe there, then all the karma is washed away. So, when you're in that clean state, you have no more karma. But the problem is that the vasanas remain. Where the samskars remain, we still want to commit the same activities that are haunting us psychologically, right? And so, therefore, people commit sins again. And Prabhupada talks about this, kunjara shochavat, like the bathing of an elephant. In India, we see elephants, after they take a bath, they like to throw dust over themselves again. And people are like that also. So that's another austerity of knowledge. But the karma is purified, but the tendency to sin, or the tendency to even engage in pious activity also, it's not so easy to get rid of that. That's why we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Only Mahamantra can actually penetrate deeply into the heart, enough to address that problem. Rupa Goswami talks about this in his Namashtakam. He's written 8 verses glorifying the holy name in this connection. So and another thing is that Jiva Goswami also explains that it may take some time for that karma to fully disappear. And Prabhupada gives an updated analogy that it's like when there's a fan going and you unplug the fan still, it will spin for some time. So because we're habituated to certain activities, as I mentioned, as a result of the strength of our samskars, we may find that it's not so easy to stop certain behaviors that we are accustomed to. And, it doesn't seem as if we've really lost anything in terms of sinful reactions, but we have. It's just some things are very subtle. Sukshmatvat tadavijnayam. Because on account of their subtlety, they're very hard to understand. So the karma is taken away when we're initiated or when we undergo any kind of major samskar like that. Much of our karma is reduced, but we have to address the underlying problem of samskara and how to remove the tendency to sin, and that is ignorance. Only thing that can remove the ignorance is the austerity of knowledge and the chanting of the holy name. Knowledge alone even is not enough, because you know very well what you have to do. What has the Duryodhana said? Janami dharmam nacha me pravrti, janami adharmam nacha me nivrati. I know what is dharma, but I'm not interested in doing it. I know what is adharma, but I'm weak. Christians say that. Spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. This is our problem. So chanting Hare Krishna is for that purpose. If we are sincere about chanting, if we take it deeply inside, if we really focus, then it works. Otherwise, just doing it as a show on the weekends or recreational Krishna consciousness, hota hai, or to impress our friends. So these things don't really have that much effect. Is it okay? Or am I rambling? I don't want to go on too long.
Thank you.
Okay, we have maybe 5 minutes. If anybody has anything else to say, yes. Or just, yeah.
I just wanted to ask you said there were 4 austerities of knowledge, but you
Three.
Three
Yeah.
of them. Another question is, what can we practically do to increase our taste in chanting?
Good question. This is answered in first canto, chapter 2, texts 15 and 16. Because text 15 tells us in the Srimad-Bhagavatam that you can cut through all this karma by hearing the message of Vasudeva. So Sridhar Swami raises the question, okay, well, what about people like me who don't have a taste for hearing about Vasudeva? What do we do? And the next answer is, Shushrusho Shradhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtana Shevaran. You find some Punya Tirtha, that means a sadhu who's really pure. The word is used nishpapa, another commentator uses the word nishkama, pure devotee, free from sin. This is the qualification of the person you have to find. And serve that devotee. And by serving those devotees, by some inscrutable process, which is very subtle, we develop a taste for hearing about Vasudeva. But this is an experiential thing. It's something that you have to do to realize it. You don't make nothing. What is it? They say nothing ventured, nothing gained. You're not willing to make a leap of faith, then you're not going to get anything. But if we're ready to find somebody in whom we have faith and somebody who is actually pure and sinless, then we serve that person, then we develop a taste for hearing. It's a famous verse from Srimad-Bhagavatam. You all, I think of all places here, ISV, you all know 2nd chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam. The whole chapter is full of famous verses. This is one of them. Text 16. Shushrusho Shradhanasya. Sushrushu, we have this word in Hindi. What does it mean in Hindi? Chamchi. But this is more faithful to the original meaning of the word, which is to heavy desire to hear, strong desire to learn. Shushrushu. So if you have faith and you invest that faith in serving a nishpapa punya tirtha, you will gain the taste for hearing about Krishna. And for hearing the name of Krishna also, not just hearing Bhagavatam. Is that okay? All right, so our time is up. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Okay. Yeah. They want me to sing Gaura Arati also. लेकिन कब होगी अभी?
She will be here.
आरती अभी होगी.
थोड़ा सा बात.
Okay. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. आचार्य श्रील ठाकुर हरिदास की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासारी गौड़ भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय। इस्कॉन विधि संस्थापक आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री श्री राधा मरण गोपाल की जय। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय। नरसिंह देव की जय। गौड़ भक्त वृंद की जय। गौ प्रेमानंदे। All glory Sri Samudvoti. All glory Sri Samudvoti. All glory Sri Samudvoti. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, please have a seat. We will have Narsimha Arti now. So we'd like to dedicate today's Narsimha Arti to Prishti Agarwal Mataji's cousin, Vinay Agarwal, who recently left his body. So we request all the devotees to pray to Lord Narsimha, Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Mahan Mahaprabhu. If they so desire, please protect Vinay Agarwal Prabhu and give him shelter at his lotus feet. Hare Krishna. Thank you for considering the request.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Hiranyakashi Purvaksha Shilatam Kanakhalaye Itam Singha Paratam Singha Yato yato yami tato nrisingha Pahin nrisingho Hridaye nrisingho Narasingha nadim sharanam prapatye Narasimhanadim Sharanam Prapatye Avakara Kamalavare Nakhamadbhuta Sringam Jalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhingam Keshavadheta Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya 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 Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gau Premanande.
Can you please turn on the lights in the back? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. We welcome you all to the Sunday Feast Festival here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. We thank you all for joining us on such a beautiful sunny day here in Bay Area. Thank you for taking your valuable time and coming here and joining us for tonight's session. So let's give a big round of applause to everyone who has joined us here. And everyone who has joined us online. So let's give them a big round of applause as well. So we are very fortunate to have His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhu and his wife, Her Grace Sri Murti Mataji, to grace the ISV here at Silicon Valley. We cherish their association and we cherish their trip every year. They give their association and very merciful to come here and encourage us to continue our path to spiritual journey. So let's give them a big round of applause for coming here. So we'll also like to thank His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhu for giving an excellent class for tonight and also leading the Gaura Arti and Nrsimha Arti as well. Hari 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 Bol. Anyone who is coming here for the first time? Okay, thank you. Thank you. We have quite a few devotees here. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or if we could be of any assistance, please reach out to us. You can reach out to me. My name is Sri Gopal Das or Hanspriya Mataji. We will assist you if you have any questions or if we could be of any assistance. Please reach out to us. We would be happy to assist you. Hare Krishna. So let's chant one Mahamantra for all our newcomers. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. We also have a very special guest tonight here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Her Grace Tulsi Ananda Mataji, who is the Srila Prabhupada's disciple. She came with her daughter, Radhika. They are very long time friends of Her Grace Nirukula Mataji. So they were here. Maybe they just stepped out. So let's give them a big warm welcome. Hari 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 Bol. So we have a couple of sponsors for tonight's feast. Prishti Agarwal Mataji is sponsoring in memory of her cousin Vinay Agarwal Prabhu, who recently left his body. So we'd like to thank Prishti Agarwal Mataji for sponsoring tonight's feast. Is she here? Preeti Agarwal. Okay. Mataji, please come. Thank you, Mataji, for sponsoring the feast, and we are very sorry to hear about your cousin, but if you'd like to say a few words, please do.
I'll just request everyone's prayer. Devotees, please pray for him. Tomorrow is the 12th day ceremony that is being celebrated in India. He left very untimely. He was only 46. So please pray for him. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Please. And the second sponsor is Mohan Rao Keta Prabhu, who never misses a chance to sponsor a feast. We have a sign at our Harinam, never miss a chance to dance. So he never misses a chance to sponsor the feast. So he is sponsoring on the occasion of his father's disappearance day, and his father's name is Keta Ghantaiya Prabhu. So let's thank Mohan Rao Keta Prabhu. You don't see him here. He's always serving. He will be at the serving table. Please thank him for sponsoring the feast. Hari Hari Bol. Now, Arna will announce the cooks for tonight's feast.
Hare Krishna. Today's head cook was Neelachal Mataji. So the cooks for today are Hari Sir Keetan Prabhu, Muralali, Abhijit Prabhu, Meghavi Mataji, Sandeep Prabhu, Shri Lata Mataji, Mahendra Prabhu, Shreya, Anil, Arun, Mayuri, Sujan and Shreyas. Hari Bol.
Now we go to Prasad Sevya prayers. Bhakti Nanushri, can you please?
He doesn't want me to announce his birthday. He thinks he can get away easily. This is a family of ISB. You can't escape. Anyway, who doesn't know Sri Gopal Prabhu? And his humility, his kind face and smile, his gentle heart. And more than that, what he has contributed to ISB since 2002. 2002, right? I mean, I feel like we all grew up together and growing old together. Sri Gopal Prabhu, actually, if you see behind all the MSF scores that we announce, all the compilation of the announcement scores that he does it. So he is actually behind the scene hero of the monthly Sankirtan festival. And yes, of course. And he has been so kind to carry over the legacy of our dearest Gandharvika. So Gandharvika used to send out the weekly announcements, and now is headed by Sri Gopal Prabhu. So he's so gentle. He's the one who sends out the exciting news. You never have to look at the CNN and BBC. Just look out for Prabhu's email. Also, if you were not here, he made this wonderful feast of dosas, tamarind rice, chutneys, medu vada, and everything for his own birthday, so he can serve you, all of you. So you can see his love for you in his heart. So please give a big round of applause, Krishna Prabhu. And most importantly, please pray that Sri Gopal Prabhu continues his service with with a great humility in his heart and with the greatest health. Hare Krishna. Speech. He tortures everyone.
I thought I will escape that. But thank you. This is actually the great fortune to be here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. I think there is no other place, not in North America, the whole world, I would say, because this is where I got introduced to ISKCON. I have never heard of ISKCON, even though I was from India, I came here. But this is where I got introduced to ISKCON, and at that time it was a small place, that one-room storefront that we used to have, and we're so fortunate that all the devotees were so loving, so caring. They just accepted me and my wife. We were newly married at that time. So it's in the mood of ISV. Whoever comes here, they will feel that mood, the loving nature of the ISV. And the mission of our leader here is Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and her Grace Nirakula Mataji, is whoever comes here, they should become the part of ISV family. And even they go away from here, they will always remain the part of ISV family. And the mission here of ISV is to preach the holy names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loud and clear to all over the Bay Area and around the world. And to that effect, we were encouraged to, and we were fortunate to be engaged in the service of book distribution, which is again the mood of here of ISKCON of Silicon Valley. So we are so fortunate that His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and Her Grace Nirakula Mataji has given shelter at the lotus feet here. And not only that, but they are so willingly accepting us, even though I fall short many times. They ignore all my mistakes and engage in the service of Srila Prabhupada. And there is no other place that I could be, happy with. So thank you. And each one of the devotees here is inspiration to me, even including the small kids. They are inspiration to me because right from the childhood they are singing the Mahamantra in the tune, melodiously. And all of you devotees who are giving your heart and soul to the mission of ISV. So I bow down to your lotus feet, and please, I will ask to please bless me so that I can have your association and so that I can continue serving Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Lakshmi Narsingha, Shri Shriman Mahaprabhu, and His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, Nirakula Mataji, and all of you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
There is a cake for all, and now let's go into the Guru Puja. Prabhu, would you like to sing Guru Puja? Prasadam Puja, Prasadam Seva.
Mataji, let's all have a Harinam Nama in the name of Prabhuji on his appearance day. Hare Krishna!
One minute. We'll sing Hare Krishna. So today is also, actually, I shared a birthday with Adhiraj Prabhu. Where is he? Adhiraj. Here, please come, Adhiraj Prabhu. Please come. Hari Bol. I am very fortunate to share a birthday with Adhiraj Prabhu. Only we are separated by how many years? I don't know. I am 50, but I don't want to reveal your age. So, okay, please, if you want to say a few words. I think if you see Adhiraj Prabhu, he recently got initiated and he is about to go to college. So we wish you all the best. And, we pray that you always stay in association of the devotees. And, wherever you go, keep the vibration of holy name going and preach to other devotees or other people to take this process of chanting holy names. Hare Krishna. Now, yes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now we will like to ask Adhiraj Prabhu to give a speech.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I wasn't expecting this, but
Me too.
this association at ISV is one of the most valuable things in my life, especially under the shelter of His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and Her Grace Nirakula Mataji. This is a really loving Sangha, and I'm very grateful to be a part of it, to be growing up in it, and I'm really excited to see where we all go together in the future. So please bless me so that I can continue serving all of you and serving all the Vaishnavas in general. Thank you.
Okay. Also, we have one more birthday, Soumya's birthday. Is Soumya here? No. But okay, anyways, we wish her also all the best and all the auspiciousness in her life, and may Sri Radha Madan Mohan give her all the protection and engage her in the service to their lordships. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, if you can please, can you sing the... Sorry, Mataji.
ফেলে বিষয় সাগরে তারম আছে চিরাবতী লভন সুরমতি তারম আছে চিরাবতী তাকে চেথা কঠিন সংসারে কৃষ্ণ বড় দয়াময় পরিবারে জিভা যায় স্বপ্রসারণ দিল ভাই সে আনন্দ ভাব রাধা কৃষ্ণ গুণ গাও প্রেমে তাকো চৈতন্য নিতাই महाप्रसाद गोविंदे नाम ब्राह्मणी वैष्णवे प्रसादे जय हो श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, भक्ति साधन की जय, और भक्तवृंद की जय।